Hey, who told you so? On the Daniel Cormier weight situation, right? I had predicted early on that even though he was a light heavyweight, I thought that he would come in even heavier than Stipe. And he did. And I'll tell you what, in any other walk of life, combat sports, boxing, mixed martial arts, if an athlete weighs in 40 pounds heavier for this fight than he did in his previous fight, oh my goodness, red flag. I mean, red flags are going up. The media is going to bury him. The fans are all going to go bet against him. They're going to tease him, all sorts of stuff. But it's different with Daniel Cormier, isn't it? It's different because he used to be a heavyweight, not only as a wrestler, where the limit was 265 and he weighed about 260 to 261 many years ago, but even in his mixed martial arts career, he did, I think it was 13 fights at heavyweight. So things are a little bit different. And there was a bit of an explanation as to why he can be 40 pounds heavier. Could you guys imagine if Mike Tyson ever weighed in? I can remember a time Mike Tyson weighed in 7 pounds heavier than his 220-pound prime. And the media destroyed him in those 24 hours, and the fans all turned him. And they were right. He went out and fought Lennox Lewis. He looked terrible. He was slow. It was a sign of his condition, and it really is in boxing. It is in MMA too. But there's a little bit more to the story here with Daniel Cormier. There's a little bit more to his past and his history. As I look at this fight, and I actually think the size helps Daniel Cormier. I think it helps him. I can't prove this. I just think that it's going to help him because so many times, or at least the storyline of this fight, it has always been Stipe's going to whip him. But Stipe's going to whip him because he's bigger, right? Daniel's coming up from 205. Stipe's already at heavyweight. Now all of a sudden Daniel weighs in even bigger. You take that piece of the pie away. And I've always been of the mind that, yeah, Stipe's going to go out there and beat him. Stipe moves too well. He's too big. He's too tall. He's too powerful. As this fight is now just, I mean, we're counting down the hours, right? Guys, how? How does Stipe beat him? And I would love an answer to that question. Daniel Cormier came out and he influenced me less than 24 hours ago. Fighters say all sorts of stuff, right? You dismiss it. Maybe it's entertaining. Maybe it's hype. Maybe it's false hope. But Daniel came out and he said something. He go, guys, he was talking about the odds. He was a 2.5-1 to Underdog. Now that's closed a little bit. It's about a 235 now. But he's a meaningful underdog for being a sitting world champion who's never lost at heavyweight. He is a meaningful underdog. He came out and he said, guys, I never lost a wrestling match at heavyweight. I've never lost a fight at heavyweight. I've never even lost a round at heavyweight. And the only way Stipe Miocic can beat me is to knock me out. I stood back and I had to go, he's right. That's all true. That's factually correct. He's never lost a wrestling match. He's never lost a fight. He's never even lost a round at this weight class. That is all 100% true. As a matter of fact, he's never even lost a fight to anybody that wasn't named John Jones. And a step further, he's never lost a round to anybody that wasn't either named John Jones or Alexander Gustafsson. Now when you take away the narrative that was built in that Stipe was bigger, I'm just left with, okay, if Stipe's going to beat him, you just got to tell me how. And Daniel even said the only way he can win is to knock me out. Well, yeah, that's what Stipe plans to do, and that's also true. Stipe Miocic can knock his ass clean out. Stipe is one of the best Western boxers you'll see in there, but with that Western boxing, one of his other big strikes is what we call a 10, which just means it's a leg kick from his back leg, his power leg. I don't think that's a weapon that's going to be utilized. I don't think you want to hand an Olympic wrestler a leg. Even if you think you're attacking him, it becomes a big question. Am I attacking him with my leg or am I handing him a leg? So I think that weapon goes away and you're left with the Western boxing, which I do think favors Stipe. But Stipe does some of his best work inside. Boom, 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 short distance, big power shots, boom, boom. Got to be real careful getting inside with Daniel Cormier. Because don't forget, when you talk about a wrestler like Daniel, who we know would love to end up on top, but we always think this is the only position for wrestling. No. Wrestlers wrestle here too. We start out on our feet. We just try to get the guy down. So if Daniel's on his feet holding a hold of Stipe, whether he's clinched up with him in the open, whether he's got him pressed up against the fence, that's wrestling. And that's going to favor Daniel. And as this fight gets closer, and the more I think about it, and I've always been of the mind that Stipe is going to go out there and whip him. As it gets closer, I am stuck with how, aside from the knockout, which Daniel has conceded, how does he beat him? And it's starting to change my mind and my prediction on the outcome of this contest.